Good morning. This is KELOLAND on the go with all you need to know in news and weather as you start your day. South Dakota's only abortion provider has paused scheduling abortions while it awaits a Supreme Court decision on Roe v. Wade.
Vice President of Communication for Planned Parenthood North Central States, Emily Bisick, says the center can't in good faith keep scheduling patients when there's a chance South Dakota's trigger laws could go into effect with the High Court's ruling.
Abortion access in South Dakota was already limited, requiring a 3-day waiting period and very few appointment times since the doctors came from out of state.
Today, the January 6th committee will be delving into Donald Trump's last-ditch effort to salvage the 2020 election by pressuring Vice President Mike Pence to reject the electoral count. Pence was to preside over the January 6th session of Congress to certify Joe Biden's election victory. Today's testimony is expected from the Vice President's counsel and a retired federal judge who called the plan incorrect at every turn. The hearing will be held at noon Central, 11 Mountain Time.
This morning, authorities are investigating a crash in western Sioux Falls. It happened near 41st Street and I-29. Our news crew on scene says there's a pickup on its roof. You can see 2 windows and the windshield were broken. We've reached out to law enforcement for more information and are waiting to hear back. Stay with KELOLAND News on air and online for updates as they become available.
Mitchell Police is asking for the public's help in solving a burglary. Officers say 2 people entered a business in the north central part of town between June 9th and 10th. Police posted these surveillance pictures on Facebook. Authorities say they stole vape and tobacco products along with athletic equipment. If you have any information about the burglary, you're asked to call the Mitchell Police Department or Mitchell Area Crime Stoppers. A 34-year-old Freeman man is facing charges after police say his 4 dogs attacked a 55-year-old woman. Police say the victim was on a walk early Monday morning when the dogs attacked her from behind. A person driving by honked at the dogs and scared them away. The victim was bitten around 17 times. Dawson Shield had the dogs back in his house by the time officers arrived. Police say he refused to turn the animals over, snuck them out the back of the home, and drove away. Authorities are still looking for the dogs.
Turning to weather, temperatures are going to start rising. Let's get the details with meteorologist Brian Karstens.
Yes, indeed. Hot weather likely for the weekend. Today, not so bad, though. We're in the 80s as we look at Futurecast hour by hour. Comfortable when you factor in a little more wind today. And I would say overall here, the humidity values are quite a bit lower. And that means, dew points in the 40s and 50s. I expect dry weather tonight as lows go back down in the lower 60s for many. And then tomorrow, returning to the 80s, even a few 90s popping up in southwest South Dakota. Perhaps a thunderstorm chance in the Black Hills Friday night. As we look ahead, the weekend, very hot. We'll get to those numbers coming up in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Brian. The city of Castlewood has spent the last month clearing up storm debris from the F2 tornado that tore through the town. Most of the debris is now piled up outside of town, ready for removal. With the debris cleared, the rebuilding phase can begin.
It's struggling to get contractors here because they're all booked and busy for the summer. And, we're not that far away from winter when you really think about it, when you think contractor-wise.
So far, there is no timeline for when repairs will be complete.
More public input is wanted for the Sioux Falls Downtown 2035 plan. So far, an advisory committee has been created along with an interactive website. Now the city is seeking applicants for work groups on topics related to downtown.
We want, all of the residents, whether they live downtown or work downtown or just visit downtown and live somewhere else in the community, to really provide their feedback and give us their thoughts and opinions on what they want to see downtown be.
The deadline to submit applications for the work groups is June 24th. You can find links for the application and the interactive map in a KELOLAND.com original. Over the next 6 months, Sioux Falls is going to be conducting a study on its aging aquatic centers while looking at replacing 3 of its oldest swimming pools. Parks and Rec says the pools at McKinnon, Frank Olson, and Keene Parks need to be replaced with something new.
What we'll be doing is we'll be having neighborhood meetings as well as community at large meetings where we'll want to engage the neighborhoods where the pools are located, but also want to make sure that people throughout the community, regardless of where they live, can provide input and feedback to us on what they think we ought to replace those facilities with.
They'll begin those neighborhood meetings in July and expect to release the findings of the study at the end of the year.
The inaugural Two-Spirit Wachipi is taking place today at the Multicultural Center in Sioux Falls from 12 to 9 p.m. There will be vendors and the crowning of Two-Spirit royalty as well. This is in partnership with Sioux Falls Pride, the Transformation Project, Two-Spirit Nation, and other organizations. Our parent company Nexstar is celebrating Founders Day of Caring tomorrow. As part of that, KELOLAND Media Group is hosting a donation drive for the Teddy Bear Den. We're asking for diapers and diaper wipes. We're also asking for new unopened bottles of body wash, lotion, shampoo, and laundry detergent. We will also accept monetary donations for the Teddy Bear Den. You can drop off these items tomorrow from 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. at our downtown Sioux Falls studio. That's a look at some of our top stories.
Now let's get one last look at your weather with meteorologist Brian Karstens. Brian?
All right, weather today, you can see on the maps, pretty dry out there. High pressure still in control of most of the weather. Here in the northern plains, developing warm front. You bet that's going to deliver the heat. That's coming in from western Nebraska, western South Dakota tomorrow afternoon. Now, in conjunction with that, there could be a couple of thunderstorm areas that initially get going in the west, but really it doesn't look like a very good setup for that to move east because things are capped and it really is a little too warm in the mid-levels of the atmosphere to storm much. And here we go into Saturday. We got some wind. We got some hot air blowing through. Of course, some of us, it'll be a little more humid heat in the east. And then into Sunday, just plain hot. 100-degree temperatures in parts of the area. And if we're not to 100, it'll be close enough. And make sure, you pace yourself. If you've got to be out in the heat here on Sunday, even Monday, hot weather. Likely in our eastern and southeastern counties. Sioux Falls could be pretty close to 100, maybe a couple degrees shy of that. Okay, well, with that said, our forecast, and here are some of the numbers on the maps. Saturday, mid-90s all throughout North Dakota, looking at a big chunk of Nebraska, at least that warm. Sunday, Monday, same idea, lots of 90s and 100s. So, yep, it's time to stay cool the best you can. Monday, maybe a little cooling there in Rapid City, and that's actually a signal of things to come in the 7-day forecast. So at least we're not going to stay that hot, for a long time. Temperature today, 85, Sioux Falls, 80 degrees, Brookings. There's the heat in the 7-day forecast. Best chances of rain probably going to wait until we break down the heat. So certainly by day 7, we're talking about a few more things that could start building in the forecast. But until we do that, again, we'll kind of be slow to add in a lot of rain here. Aberdeen, maybe a thunderstorm chance, a little better shot on Monday with the initial cool down. And when we say cool down, we're talking 80s through Tuesday and Wednesday. The Pier forecast, 3 days of hitting the century mark or higher, and then it tries to cool by Tuesday and Wednesday. Again, we may add some rain chances there, but we want to get a little more clarity on the timeline on that. So for now, the best chance on Monday is probably going to hold in the Black Hills and then up there in the far north, Mobridge and Aberdeen. Of course, we'll have more information on this throughout the weekend. Check out details at KELOLAND.com.